Hi everyone. In this session, we're going to look at menopause, mood, and food. During perimenopause, a lot of women report symptoms such as mood swings, anxiety, insomnia, and difficulties with memory and concentration. Now, this can be due to lots of different reasons, but it can also be due to changes in estrogen. Remember, estrogen is that reproductive hormone, but it also has lots of other functions in the body, and it can also affect the brain and neurotransmitters. Neurotransmitters are these chemical messengers that are made in the brain, and they help to regulate our emotions, but also things like memory and concentration. I suppose one of the most famous neurotransmitters is serotonin, and that's very much linked with estrogen. Now, there's a lot of different things happening in the body and lots of things at play, but can diet have any role here? Well, the research would show that some nutrients can be particularly useful. And the first one to look at is protein. Protein is found in lots of different foods, but protein in food is made up of these chains of what we call amino acids. And they're needed to make serotonin and other neurotransmitters that are important for mood and brain function. Now, to make serotonin in particular, we need a particular amino acid that's called tryptophan. And tryptophan is found in a variety of foods, such as chicken, beef, pork, fish, but also lots of vegetarian options as well, like tofu, soybeans, seeds, oats, bananas, eggs, milk, and other dairy products. So it's really important to get a good variety of these foods into our diet to help us to make that tryptophan and therefore contribute to making those neurotransmitters. The other key nutrient that's really important here are carbohydrates. And that's because neurotransmitters are actually made in our gut by the bacteria that live down there. So they're made in the gut and then they travel to the brain. And the most well-known of these is, of course, serotonin, and 90% of serotonin is made in our gut. And so it's really important that we keep our gut happy in order to produce this serotonin. The bacteria that lives in our gut really likes to live on complex and fiber-rich foods, such as whole meals and beans and vegetables that are really important to help keep those bacteria happy and then also to produce and release those neurotransmitters. So it's really important to include a variety of these sorts of foods in our diet, such as fruits, vegetables, whole grains, beans, legumes, nuts, and seeds. Also, when it comes to looking at mood and other symptoms, it's really important to look at sleep. The changes in hormone levels can also impact our sleep. And when decreases occur in estrogen, it can lead to other symptoms like hot flushes and night sweats. And these very much can disturb sleep. For some women, they can see restless leg syndrome, and that means that you have this really strong urge to keep moving your legs. And of course, that's going to keep you awake. And for others, they may need to use the bathroom a lot more often. And again, you're up and you're breaking your sleep patterns. So as a result of all this, you can become more tired, and that can exacerbate mood and anxiety. But also, just generally for women, they can just feel more anxious at this time, and that makes sleep harder. So we have a vicious cycle going on here as well. So, is there anything with our diets that we can do to help improve sleep? Well, there's different things that can work. And one of the big things, again, is coming back to that neurotransmitter, serotonin. It's really important also for sleep. And serotonin is important because it's needed for the production of melatonin, and melatonin controls our sleep-wake cycle. Lots of things can impact melatonin, such as blue screens and different things like that, but diet and certain foods may be helpful for some people as well. So when we look again at, looking after our sleep cycle, we're going back to that mixed and diverse diet. We know that magnesium is needed for making serotonin, and that can also help then regulate that hormone melatonin. So good sources of magnesium are fish, meat and dairy, pumpkin seeds, wholemeal bread, spinach, peas, lentils, and other nuts and seeds. Also, really important for sleep are those foods that are rich in tryptophan because they can help make that serotonin. So, again, your chicken, beef, but also those vegetarian sources as well, such as oats, bananas, and seeds. We also know that vitamin B6, calcium, and zinc are involved in making and regulating melatonin. So, the food sources of those nutrients are for vitamin B6, poultry, pulses, lentils, bananas, and soy food. Calcium, dairy rich foods, tofu, and also fortified plant drinks and yogurts. And zinc can be found in lots of foods such as meat, shellfish, cheese, pumpkins, and sesame seeds. We also know that vitamin D is also really important for our bone health, but there's some research to suggest that it may play a role in how well we sleep as well. So important to include that in our diet. So overall, it's all about eating a variety of different foods and making sure we get that mixed and diverse diet. So if you have any questions, please let me know or let Kelly know. Thank you for listening. Please remember as well, any issues for mental health, it's really important to reach out and get support. Diet may play a little role here, but it's important to get that other support there too.